260 BC. The state of Zhao faces its greatest crisis. For 3 years, their veteran general Lian Po has held off the mighty Qin army through defensive strategy, building fortifications, refusing open battle, exhausting the enemy through attrition. It's working. The Qin are frustrated, their supply lines stretched thin. But in Zhao's capital, King Xiaocheng grows impatient. Advisors, many bribed by Qin spies, whisper that Lian Po is too cautious. They suggest Zhao Kuo, son of the famous general Zhao Shi. Zhao Kuo has never commanded troops. His expertise comes from studying war manuals. His own father warned, "If Zhao appoints my son commander, he will doom the army." The king doesn't listen. When Qin Supreme Commander Bai Qi learns of Zhao Kuo's appointment, he laughs. Bai Qi is China's most terrifying general. Over 30 years, he has slaughtered over 1 million enemy soldiers. His nickname, Ren Tu, the human butcher. He doesn't just defeat armies, he annihilates them. Bai Qi understands what the paper general doesn't. War isn't fought from books. While Zhao Kuo prepares textbook tactics, Bai Qi sets a trap. He weakens his left flank deliberately, making it appear vulnerable. He positions his strongest forces in hidden mountain positions. Then, he waits. July 260 BC. Zhao Kuo assumes command of 450,000 men, nearly every able-bodied male in Zhao. He immediately abandons Lian Po's defensive strategy and launches an all-out offensive against Qin's weak flank. The Qin troops retreat, seemingly panicked. Zhao Kuo pursues confidently. Victory appears within grasp, exactly as Bai Qi planned. As Zhao forces advance deep into Qin territory, 25,000 elite Qin cavalry sweep behind enemy lines, cutting off Zhao's supply route at Changping Pass. Another 5,000 cavalry sever communications between the advancing army and their supply depot. Within hours, 450,000 Zhao soldiers are trapped, surrounded, cut off from food and water. September 260 BC. The Zhao army is besieged on a hillside. No food, no water except what little they can dig from dry earth. Starvation sets in. Men slaughter horses for meat. When horses are gone, they eat rats, insects, leather boiled for scraps. By the 3rd week, soldiers die from hunger. By the 4th, some resort to cannibalism. Zhao Kuo launches breakout attempts. Bai Qi's archers cut them down in waves. Still Bai Qi waits, tightening the noose, letting hunger kill them. Day 46. Zhao Kuo knows they're finished. A general doesn't surrender. He fights. He gathers his finest warriors, gaunt men who can barely lift weapons. They charge downhill, attempting to break through. Qin archers rain arrows. The sky darkens with them. Zhao Kuo is struck multiple times, falling from his horse, dying in mud alongside his men. With their commander dead, the remaining forces collapse. Approximately 400,000 starving, exhausted soldiers lay down their arms and surrender. Bai Qi faces a problem. 400,000 prisoners, more than his entire army. Feeding them is impossible. Releasing them is unthinkable. They'll rejoin Zhao's forces. Keeping them requires guards and logistics Qin doesn't have. Bai Qi calculates coldly. The Shandong region originally belonged to Han. Locals resent Qin occupation. Released prisoners might join rebellions, destabilize conquered territory. From Bai Qi's perspective, there's only one solution, one that will permanently cripple Zhao's military capacity and send a message of terror across China. Bai Qi gathers his commanders and issues the order: execute all prisoners, not in combat, through systematic slaughter. The Zhao soldiers, disarmed, starving, are divided into groups. Qin soldiers surround them. Then comes the terrible realization: they're being killed. The records of the Grand Historian states that Bai Qi ordered all but 240 of the youngest soldiers buried alive. 400,000 men. The youngest 240 were spared, not from mercy, but to spread terror. They were sent back to Zhao to describe the pits, the screams, the horror. How do you kill 400,000 people? You dig massive trenches large enough to hold thousands of bodies. You march prisoners to the edge. You push them in. Some accounts say they were buried alive, thrown into pits and covered with earth while breathing. Others suggest many were killed first, then buried. Archaeological excavations near modern Gaoping in Shanxi province uncovered mass graves associated with Changping. In 1995, a farmer struck bones, lots of bones, bronze arrowheads, human remains in layers. Even today, bones surface after heavy rains. Modern historians question whether 400,000 is accurate. Ancient Chinese records often inflated casualties. Some scholars suggest 100,000 or 150,000. But even conservative estimates place Changping among history's deadliest battles. Archaeological evidence confirms mass killings on enormous scale. Whether 400,000 or 100,000, the horror is the same. Bai Qi ordered systematic execution of surrendered prisoners after 46 days of starvation. This wasn't combat. It was calculated genocide. The Battle of Changping destroyed Zhao as a great power. Before 260 BC, Zhao was one of China's strongest states. After Changping, Zhao lost approximately 45% of its male population. Villages had no men left. Agriculture collapsed. The economy crumbled. Zhao never recovered its strength. Qin, though bloodied, recovered within a decade. Within 40 years, Qin conquered all other states and unified China under Emperor Qin Shi Huang in 221 BC. The path to unification began at Changping. Changping left scars on Chinese culture lasting millennia. Ji Shang Tan Bing, discussing war strategies on paper, became an idiom mocking theoretical knowledge without practical experience. Zhao Kuo's name became synonymous with incompetence. The battle appears in military academies worldwide as a cautionary tale. But the darkest legacy is Bai Qi himself. After Changping, he wanted to immediately attack Zhao's capital. His superiors refused. Bai Qi was eventually forced to commit suicide in 257 BC after losing favor. Some say he died haunted by ghosts of 400,000 buried soldiers. What makes Changping so disturbing is that Bai Qi wasn't a sadist or insane. He was coldly rational. He calculated that executing prisoners served Qin's strategic interests. The mass burial wasn't cruelty for its own sake. It was policy. That calculation, that cold assessment of human life as expendable resource, is perhaps more chilling than battlefield rage. In 260 BC, 400,000 men surrendered after being starved for 46 days, expecting imprisonment. Instead, they were marched to pits and buried. Only 240 survived to carry the horror home. That's Changping, where victory became genocide, where surrender became death, and where one general's ruthless logic turned the longest battle in ancient history into its deadliest massacre.